The dark animal secrets of New Zealand. Imagine waking up in a world where almost no land mammals exist. No wolves, no deer, no monkeys, not even squirrels racing through the trees. Sounds peaceful, or perhaps slightly suspicious. Now imagine that birds become the rulers of this forgotten kingdom. Welcome to New Zealand, one of the strangest places on Earth. Millions of years ago, New Zealand drifted away from the ancient supercontinent of Gondwana and became isolated. So isolated that evolution began conducting what feels like a secret experiment. While most continents filled with mammals, New Zealand became a land where birds occupied nearly every ecological role imaginable. Some hunted like wolves, some grazed like cattle, some grew to heights that seem impossible. Scientists often describe New Zealand as a biological time capsule, but perhaps a better description would be this: a beautiful mystery that accidentally survived into the modern age. And the deeper we look, the stranger the story becomes. Meet the moa. The largest species could reach nearly 4 meters in height when stretching their necks. That is taller than many basketball players standing on each other's shoulders. Which sounds impressive, and slightly unfair to every other bird. For millions of years these giant birds dominated New Zealand's forests. Then something astonishing happened. They vanished, completely. By the 1400s, the giant moa had disappeared. No living specimen remained, yet the mystery did not end there. Remarkably preserved feathers, bones, and even soft tissues have been discovered in caves and dry environments. Some remains appear so fresh that visitors often assume they are only decades old. This has fueled decades of speculation. Could isolated populations have survived longer than expected? Could hidden valleys have concealed the final giants? Scientists say no evidence confirms their survival today. But the fact that the question keeps returning reveals something fascinating. The moa vanished recently enough to feel almost reachable, like a door that closed moments before we arrived. Every giant requires a rival, and New Zealand produced one worthy of legend. Haast's eagle, the largest eagle known to have existed. Its wingspan was enormous. Its talons rivaled those of modern apex predators. And its favorite prey, the giant moa. Think about that for a moment. An eagle powerful enough to hunt a bird several times heavier than itself. Nature apparently looked at normal eagles and decided they were not ambitious enough. Researchers believe Haast's eagle evolved extraordinary strength because New Zealand lacked mammalian predators. It became the undisputed ruler of the skies. Then, shortly after the moa disappeared, the eagle vanished too. Its fate became tied to the very creature it hunted. One mystery pulling another into darkness. Like pages torn from the same lost book. Now comes a twist worthy of a detective novel. The takahe, a large flightless bird with stunning blue and green plumage. Scientists declared it extinct in the 19th century. Case closed, or so they thought. Then came an extraordinary discovery. In 1948, a small population was found alive in remote mountains. Alive, after decades of being considered gone forever. Imagine being declared extinct and then casually showing up again. That is perhaps the greatest comeback in animal history. The rediscovery shocked the scientific world, and it raised an uncomfortable question. How many species disappear simply because we stop looking? Sometimes extinction is not a final chapter. Sometimes it is merely a missing page. If New Zealand has a living time traveler, it is the tuatara. At first glance, it resembles a lizard, but appearances can be deceiving. The tuatara belongs to a lineage that diverged from other reptiles more than 200 million years ago. Dinosaurs rose, dinosaurs fell, continents shifted, and somehow the tuatara remained. Scientists often refer to it as a living fossil, yet even that description feels inadequate. Its biology contains unique characteristics found nowhere else. It is not merely old, it is a surviving witness to worlds long gone. And if animals could tell stories, the tuatara would probably begin every sentence with, "Back in my day." Perhaps the greatest mystery is not a single animal, it is the ecosystem itself. New Zealand continues producing discoveries. New insects, new marine species, new ecological relationships. Remote valleys and offshore islands still contain unanswered questions. Researchers regularly encounter species that challenge assumptions about evolution and survival. The lesson is both exciting and humbling. We often imagine that the world has already been mapped and understood. Yet nature quietly disagrees. Behind every fern, every mountain ridge, and every isolated island lies the possibility of another surprise. And New Zealand has become exceptionally skilled at keeping secrets. If evolution occasionally develops a sense of humor, The kakapo may be the evidence. The kakapo is a parrot, but not the kind most people imagine. It cannot fly. It is active at night. It can become surprisingly heavy, and it possesses one of the most unusual mating systems in the bird world. In almost every category, the kakapo seems determined to ignore the traditional rulebook of parrots. For centuries, this peculiar bird thrived in New Zealand's isolated environment. With few predators to fear, flight gradually became unnecessary. Why spend energy flying when the ground feels perfectly safe? It was an efficient strategy, until circumstances change. Today, every remaining kakapo is carefully monitored by conservation teams. Each individual is so valuable that scientists know them almost personally. Yet the mystery surrounding the species remains captivating. How did such an unconventional bird evolve successfully for so long? The answer reveals one of nature's most important lessons. In isolation, survival does not always reward speed or strength. Sometimes it rewards uniqueness, and few animals are more uniquely mysterious than the kakapo. Most people associate New Zealand with forests and mountains, but some of its greatest mysteries lie far below the ocean surface. Surrounding the islands are deep marine environments that remain only partially explored. Scientists continue discovering species that appear almost alien. Transparent creatures drift through darkness. Bioluminescent organisms create moving constellations beneath the waves. Strange fish emerge from depths where sunlight never arrives. The deeper researchers explore, the more unusual the discoveries become. At times, newly documented animals seem less like earthly wildlife and more like visitors from an entirely different planet. And perhaps the strangest realization is this: we know more about parts of the moon than some regions of Earth's deep oceans. That is both fascinating and slightly embarrassing for a species that claims to have excellent navigation skills. Somewhere in these waters, countless unknown species may still exist, waiting silently in darkness, hidden beneath centuries of waves. New Zealand is more than a collection of islands. It is a living archive of mysteries. A place where giant birds ruled the forests, where legendary predators vanished alongside their prey, where extinct animals returned from the shadows, and where ancient survivors continue watching the modern world unfold. The deeper scientists investigate, the more questions emerge. Perhaps that is why New Zealand fascinates us, not because all its mysteries have been solved, but because so many remain. And somewhere, beyond the next mountain or hidden valley, another astonishing secret may already be waiting. If you enjoyed uncovering these amazing animal secrets, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all our future videos. Don't forget to click the bell icon, so you'll never miss out on more fascinating stories from the animal kingdom. Thank you for watching, and we can't wait to explore more hidden secrets with you in the next video.